Thanks very much, Rod. It was quite a good start for me coming in on the back of you. And if you're here in the audience, you would have heard all that. If you're not in the audience, you're sitting at home. You haven't heard it, but a good segue into me. So thanks very much for that. A lot of support for nuclear around the world. Now you're going to hear a really good story from a uranium exploration company. We are only into uranium, and uranium is the fuel for nuclear reactors. So we are looking at two jurisdictions. We're looking at Namibia, which some people struggle to say, but Namibia is in southwest of Africa. It's a great, fantastic uranium mining jurisdiction. They've been operating there for mining since 1976 on a continuous basis. We've got 152 million pound globally, and 104 of those is in Namibia. And we've got 48 million pound in Australia, one of the powerhouse mining countries in the world. Now, if you look at the slide up there, you'll see that there's different colours. The orange colour indicates exploration, mostly early stage. The light blue is projects that we've explored, defined some mineralisation, and the darker blue is projects we've got resources on. So we see we've got projects at different levels in both jurisdictions. So in the interest of time, we've only got 15 minutes available to me today. I'm going to talk about Namibia. As I said, it's a tier 1 uranium mining jurisdiction. Rossing Uranium Mining, in the middle of the slide there, has been operating 48 years continuously, 1976 onwards, haven't shut down at all. There's been 3 mines developed in the last 16 years, Koppies for Orano, the big French company, Husab for CGNPC, and Langer Heinrich's, Paladin's Langer Heinrich operation, all in the last 16 years. 3 mining licenses granted recently. The most 2 recent ones are Bannerman, the Tango, and Deep Yellow's Tumas project. So there's a history of uranium mining. There's a history of developing uranium projects, and a recent history of mining licenses being granted. So a tier 1 mining jurisdiction, basically. We have the largest tenement position for nuclear fuels in the country. We're actively exploring on those at the moment, and with great success. We also want to point out here that we've got what we're looking for is secondary uranium. So where uranium has weathered, or granite's weathered, release the uranium, it's flowed down through old river systems, it's reprecipitated when the geological conditions are right, and they're now called paleochannels, not river systems. So there's a concentration of them up in the north of this slide, the central Aronga area and the Namib area. So the Namib area is where we have been focused our attention, and our first discovery there was the Koppies project. It's now a 58 million pound resource. We moved it through November last year and then April this year into 58 million pound from its 20 million pound. It's got an aggregate length of 20 kilometres of mineralisation, and the all-in discovery cost from our first tenement application through to our resource of 58 million pound is 6.8 cents per pound. That's an extremely low number, and I don't think you'll hear anybody else say that around. Considering the uranium price is sitting at $90 a pound, that's a fantastic result for us. So we're very proud of the fact that we've found this 58 million pound at low cost. The mineralisation is really close to surface, and one thing that excites me about it is the fact that it's really shallow. We're talking 50% of the ore is within 7 metres of surface. Now, I'm sorry I'm talking metres, and you people talk feet, but 7 times 3 is 21 feet. 95% of the ore is within 18.5 metres of surface. That's a harder number to multiply by 3, by the way. So we'll leave that one alone. But it's a really shallow resource, which what it means is we're going to have shallow mining, low-cost mining, a very low strip ratio. Now, when you couple that with our uranium beneficiation process called Upgrade, that really lowers the cost to develop this project. So let me talk about Upgrade for a while. Upgrade's a process we developed in-house. It's a process that looks at the minerals present and their associations. And what it does is we concentrate the gangue mineral, the mineral that doesn't contain uranium. We concentrate that and throw it away. Now, that's counterintuitive. Who would think of concentrating invaluable minerals as opposed to the valuable mineral? But that's what we do. It's innovative, it's patentable, and we've got 3 patents around the world. So the very last stage in this is where we concentrate uranium. The rest is concentrating gangue minerals, throwing them away. So it's sort of a different way of approaching it. And what it means is that the unit operations are getting smaller and smaller all through the process. So the capital costs drop, the operating costs drop, to the point where you've got less than 5% of the mass in a concentrate. Now, we've got less than 5% of the mass in concentrate. You can leach it on site and refine it to produce yellow cake, or you can take it to a third party. You take it to a third party, then obviously you've got lower capital costs. You don't have to build the leach and refinery. So it gives us optionality as to how we develop these projects and really makes a big difference to the company in terms of cost base and development pathway. So the other thing is that the environmental benefits are enormous. You know, your leach tailings is now less than 5% of the mass. Your tailings dam is less than 5% of the mass. We actually take calcite out, and if you throw calcite back into a leach tail, it neutralises the acid inert tailings. So another benefit. So there's enormous of benefits around what we do with Upgrade. So quite exciting as to what it does for the project. Quite exciting what it does for the company. So we're just in the process of excavating test pits. I took these photos in Namibia last month. We're there. The test pits we excavate to between 4 to 6 metres deep, and we've excavated 8 of them. What we're doing is collecting samples for metallurgical test work. The best sample you can get for a beneficiation process is not from a drill hole, but it's from excavating the process. Your particle size distribution is very similar to a mining operation. So if you look at this slide, I love the colour of uranium mineral carnotite. It's a secondary uranium mineral. It's a beautiful colour. I love seeing it. When you go into a test pit and you put water on the face and you see this beautiful yellow appear, not only as a metallurgist and as a CEO, I get rather excited. As a metallurgist, I get excited because I'm the champion of the upgrade process, and I know that when I look at that, uranium's going to concentrate beautifully. It's just available to be concentrated. So it's quite exciting for me. And from a CEO's perspective, it's exciting for the company because we know that more than likely Koppies is going to beneficiate extremely well and produce that low mass, high grade concentrate that we're after. So exciting stage for us at Koppies. And so from a news flow point of view, what we're doing at Koppies is, yes, we're excavating the test pits. We're doing metallurgical test work this year. We want to then move into a pilot plant next year to demonstrate the upgrade process. We think it's important for investors to see that we've demonstrated upgrade works at a larger scale, not just the bench scale. And we're also doing a resource confidence update. So what we're looking at is we're currently in the process of drilling an indicated drill program. Inferred drill program is what we've got for our 58 million pound. You cannot announce financial metrics on an inferred resource. So if you do a study, you can't announce it. So we're doing indicated drilling to make sure that we can then move into a study after we've done our pilot plant. We don't want to do it before. Now I've got 2 to 3 rigs written against Koppies because one of those rigs will be pulled away shortly to go looking for our 5th discovery in 5 years. We've already had 4 in 4 years. Let's go and find some more. And the other thing is we've got a rig on Hirabeb looking at a maiden resource, a rig on Capri looking at a maiden resource. So what we see as a value for a company like us is pounds in the ground. So we're trying to get more pounds in the ground with maiden resource drill programs. And next thing is confidence level of those pounds. So Koppies, we're improving the confidence level by taking it from inferred to indicated. And the next thing we think adds value to, because I've heard investors say to us over a number of years, love the concept of upgrade. Sounds fantastic, but prove it. So we want to prove it through a pilot plan. So that's what we really want to do. Now, one thing I've failed to mention in this is we are the most aggressive exploration company on the ASX from a uranium perspective. We are drilling 125 holes per week. We've got 5 drill rigs working in Namibia. They're drilling 5 holes per day. They drill Monday to Friday. So that's 125 holes a week. 3 weeks ago, they drilled 160 holes. I don't know what happened that week, but our systems, I think, are getting even better. So each one of those holes costs $1,000 to drill. So $1,000, right? That's US dollars, and you've got your hole drilled, you've got your downhole gamma result, and you have your results sitting there. You know exactly how much uranium's in it. So that's a fairly inexpensive exploration program. I don't think, people have talked to me about maybe showing the depth slide on the Athabasca Basin slide where, Arrow's 350 metres from the surface and goes down to 650 metres. We're talking half of ours within 7 metres of surface. It would just look a little line at the top of the slide. So I think that just would put it in perspective. But, nobody drills $1,000 a hole in this uranium industry. The other thing is we want to do a bit of work on
Marinica project. And as I say, we want 5. We're not happy with 4 discoveries in 4 years. We want to make it more. We also want to do some work on our assets in the Northern Territory of Australia later this year. But you can see why there's been a lot of emphasis on Namibia, inexpensive exploration, turning our first discovery into a 58 million pound resource. They're very, very good results for us. So everybody that you talk to want to talk about your corporate overview. For an ASX listed company, we've got 308 million shares on issue. We don't have 2 billion like most of our peers do. We've got a market cap sitting in excess of 100 US at the moment. We've got, I'll call them Australian dollars here, $14 million in the bank as opposed at the end of March. We're burning about 900 to 950. I did say burning. Someone misheard me just earlier in the meeting and said, I thought he said I said earning. It's my Aussie drawl, but we are spending 900 to 950,000 a month. So we've got about 14 months of money there. We don't have any debt, and we've got a fair bit of liquidity on the Australian market. We do trade on the OTCQX. Now, our major shareholders, 2 ETFs out of the US, Sprott and Global X, and the next one is our directors and management. So we've got skin in the game. It's very important for us shareholders to be aligned with shareholders. So we've got 5.1% of the company. Now, you can't talk about uranium without talking about nuclear and the uranium shortage. We've heard that, we're seeing now that nuclear has a renaissance, if you call it that, and there's a lot more interest in nuclear than there ever has been. We've got a huge shortage of supply to meet current demand, and we're seeing a lot of reactors extending their lives. We're seeing the vast quantity of energy being required around the world. AI centres consuming enormous energy. A small AI centre in Perth, where I live, is consuming more energy than a suburb does, so on a daily basis. So I think we're underestimating how much energy we need from AI and other sources. We're going down the EV path, electric vehicles. EVs have batteries. Batteries store energy, batteries discharge energy, batteries don't generate energy. So where's that going to come from? It's got to come from reliable baseload, which is nuclear, low cost, low carbon emissions, which we've heard. So we see that we need, the demand is outweighing supply at the moment and will continue to do as we grow. The only way to incentivise new supply is for the underlying commodity price to rise. Now, we've seen uranium price smooth. It's now sitting at $90 a pound. I can see it sitting at 200 plus comfortably with time to incentivise new production. So just in summary, we've got 152 million pound globally. Namibia is a tier 1 uranium mining jurisdiction. Australia is a tier 1 mining jurisdiction. We've got a portfolio of assets that are growing and poised for future growth. We are aggressively exploring 5 holes per day per rig, 125 holes per week. You won't hear anybody say that at $1,000 a hole. We've got this value creation through upgrades of beneficiation process we developed in-house, add significant value to us. A proven discovery team, 4 discoveries in 4 years. There's not many people who can say that. So there's a lot of things that I'm saying today you don't hear others say. And what better time to be in the uranium industry and nuclear? It's a fantastic time, the way that nuclear demand is increasing, the uranium price is moving, getting a few people excited. And if you've never been to Namibia, and if you've never been to where we are, this is what it looks like. So we don't have any trouble planning drill programs. We don't have any trouble getting out there. We don't need to clear any vegetation. We don't need to clear people away out of the way of us. We are in the desert. But at the same time, the desert holds its history, so we make sure we treat it with respect and we rehabilitate every hole that we drill. So I'm very proud of the fact that we've achieved what we have. We've got a lot of growth to go, and I'm looking forward to leading the company through the next growth phase, more discoveries, increasing our resources, proving upgrade, a lot of benefits for us coming in the future. So thanks very much for listening and thanks for providing me the time.